Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new series. This is going to just be a little bit probably on and off since Factorio is a game that literally lasts forever. But this is a game called Factorio, which is basically you designing systems for mining resources and then converting those resources into something different. And eventually the goal is to build a rocket ship and launch a satellite, essentially. So I don't know how long I'm going to play this game, since I think my main playthrough for this took roughly, I think it took 20 something hours, and I definitely don't want to be making a 300 long episode series. However, I absolutely love this game. This is one of my favorite games, and I think it would be fun to play. So I am going to play it. So I did start out. I have a basic. It's very dark, unfortunately. I started this at night. I wish I could turn off the night cycle, but here we are. I have a very basic system, and what I want to do right now is I have my raw materials. I have copper and iron plates, which are being smelted and constructed from ore over here. So I basically have what is called a main bus. I am going to be splitting off from this bus at various points. Oh, okay, I got research. Who fucking cares? I turned off hostile aliens in this just because I'd rather have a fun playthrough than a stressful one. And as much as I do enjoy the challenge of fighting aliens, sometimes it is just a little too much. So there's two things that I want to do right now. Anyway, my first goal is to improve this setup. What I'm doing is I have to make science packs, which require copper and gears are created using iron plates. So I have a system here to create iron gears, and then I use all of that, combine it together, make these little science packs. Science packs go on this little carousel here, which then gets consumed by these science buildings, which increases this bar for researching various things. So what I want to do is I want to increase this to, I don't know the exact number. Like there's a ton of people out there who actually do like legit research on this game to optimize every facet of it. And honestly, I'm good for just kind of hanging out and playing for a bit and having a more or less good time and not try to fully optimize everything. So I'm probably going to make like 10 of them and see where we go from there. And I'm going to move my science center over a little bit more, just because that will allow me to have a little bit more space in the future, because there is going to be more things happening. Okay, that's almost done researching. There we go. And I need to build more transport belts, which require more things and more things and more things and many more things. So when you just start this game, and I was inspired to start playing this game again by watching Northern Lions play through with everybody else in his team. I know a lot of people are watching that series and getting frustrated because there are many ways to properly optimize one of these, and what they are doing is not proper for the most part, which is fine. Like, if you're having fun, who the hell cares? But there we go. But it's like I was watching this and I was like, oh, this game was so much fun, and I just wanted to play it again. So here we are. So I'm laying down some power lines, and from there I will have a nice little setup for the rest of my science. And at some point I might expand this out a little bit more, but for the time being that is more than enough. Oops, I ran out of power. Power lines and my crappy little production over here can't do anything. I can't remember all the keyboard shortcuts for this game either, which is a little unfortunate, because there are a lot of optimizations that you can do in that front as well. So this game is absolutely overwhelming, and that's a little unfortunate. I'm going to the one of the reasons why I started part of the way through, like with this setup already in place, was because really the first hour and a half is just base setup, and it's not terribly exciting. I was just playing it while watching Northern Line and crew in the background, and it was great, but I didn't really feel the need to burden everybody with that whole process. Like I feel like there's more than enough to do in this game, rather than watch me walk back and forth between areas just doing this general setup. So that's my justification there. And I haven't played this game in a while, so there's definitely some room for improvement in a lot of things here. So I will be doing my best to play as efficiently as possible, but for the most part, I will probably just be doing whatever I feel like. So what I'm doing here is eventually you need extra science, or 4 different science packs total. So I'm just setting my system up beforehand, so I can just use it in the future. And really, this is probably going to be the main research area for the entire game for me. This is a system that I use, and I don't know if it's the optimal system or anything like that, but it works for me, and that's it. So basically all I have to do now is just when my green science, my second science, comes down, I have an inserter that puts it in the inner side. The red ones go on the outer side, and then the other 2 go on the inner and outer of this one. And then I'm able to grab anything I want from this carousel, and it's in an infinite loop, so eventually it'll just get all full. So that is taken care of. Like I said, I'll probably make more science things at some point, but really, like, this is overkill, and I am doing just fine on energy production. I really wish I could turn off the night cycles. Let me see if I can up the gamma at least a little bit. Lights render. Sorry for this. Like, other? Yeah, whatever. It just kind of sucks because, like, it's important to be able to see what you're doing. So what I'm planning on doing now is creating a system here that allows for much more efficient production of this red science. And by efficient, I just mean I'm making more places to create red science. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to actually move it a little bit farther away from the general bus, and we should be good there. Like, I am by no means an expert Factorio player, but if I can clean this up a little bit, I think that things will be a lot better. Oops, it's F. There we go. So, and one of the things that I actually love about this game is how modular things are. Like, you can just tear everything down and rebuild it, and it's really no big thing. Like, it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and later on in the game you have the ability to build robots and, like, systems of robots to construct and deconstruct things for you. And I think that that is absolutely cool. Like, I really haven't gotten that far. I beat the game, but I didn't really go too far into the robotics part of the game. And that's definitely something that I want to do in the future. Who knows if it'll be this run or if it'll be a different one. But so now I have iron plates split off here. And what I need to do is I need to create a system to split off the copper plates, which is actually pretty easy. You get that, and you get a splitter. So I have an underground there, and then need one of these, and then we got our splitter here, and then there we go. So what do we need to make... Now, we're just going to go through this again. So we need a copper plate and an iron gear wheel. So what I can do is I can spend... Or I can... Yeah. So iron gear wheels are actually very quick and easy to construct. So I'm going to create 3 of these. And that should be more than enough that I need to use. So then we have this. And then for the sake of efficiency, I think that I can just go like this. 4, 5, 6, 7. And guys, please let me know if this is actually an entertaining series for you. Like, I love Factorio in the sense that it allows you to be creative in a very unconventional way. Just because, like, usually it kind of, this kind of seems like voodoo to some people. Like, so what I need to do here is I need to make sure that the copper only goes on the inside, because the gears will be placed on the outside, because the inserters only place stuff on the opposite side of the outside of the track. So that should be set up. So now we just need to go like this and set up the inserters. And then set up the power. And we should have a working system for all of this. Now my power lines aren't going to be great, but you know, that's part of the thing. Oops. There. And I guess we need to connect that power with something right there. There. So now we've got these guys making gear wheels, and I want to make sure that production is great enough for the gear wheels to actually start piling up at the end, because if they don't pile up, then I can just create another one of these, and then we should be good. But it looks like, yep, looks like it's piling up just fine, and part of that's because I'm not actually grabbing any output. So let me make sure that I get some output here too. And you can see already that production is starting to tax my my somewhat crappy system here, and that's because I have like a backup here and other things, and it's far from ideal. Let me just put it that way. So we might be making some changes as we go here, which is, you know, which is how you do this. Like there's always changes to be made, and like I said, that's part of the fun, where you're able to not only build a system but actively modify it and improve it. And I think that is valuable. So let's go like this, and then like this. And then just bring this up. Efficient? No, it's not efficient. Like, there are easier ways of handling that. But, so we have 7, 5, 6, 7. We have that. And then we can start getting our science back on track. In a perfect world, I would probably loop this around and in rather than out. And I might still do that. It's just, I can always change it later. It's no big deal. And then really the next critical thing that I should probably work on building is electronic circuits. And electronic circuits take an iron plate and 3 copper cable. And copper cable is very easy to create. It just takes a copper plate. So it just takes iron and copper plates. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this same split, except going off to the left, and I'm going to have a gigantic production facility for electronic circuits, because that is super important. And I'm going to have to power these guys, obviously, but I'm just going to set them down first. So power, power, and power. Not super efficient when it comes to power cable usage, but, you know, that's how it goes. And then all of these guys will make their way down here, and they'll get put on this thing, and then these will all get snatched up and grabbed, and we'll be good to go. So that is exciting. Like, I could be using faster inserters here, but honestly, like, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. And eventually, production of these things will production of the red science will outweigh the need for it. So yeah, see, I just finished this. So let me just find something else that takes one red science. Let's build turrets. Not that they matter. So eventually this will all get backed up, and when it's backed up, then all of these will get backed up, and then this will get backed up, and then I won't know. Geez, these will research super quickly, and eventually when it all gets backed up, then I won't be consuming resources here anymore, and yeah, it won't be a problem. Yeah. So now that I have, let me see what's another. Oh, I can build armor after that. So what I can do now, oh, Jesus, it's so fast. Military. It's pretty cool. Look how fast that's going. And that's the satisfying part about this game. The fact that you can basically just sit down and create this system, and all you have to do after the system is created is to just let the system take care of itself, and it's all automated. I'll just do steel processing. You need steel eventually. And once it's taking care of itself, then you just don't have to worry about it anymore. You just kind of do your own thing. You work on something else. So I'm going to set up another splitter here for iron and copper. And I'm going to need... Oh, I already have an underground tunnel, so I don't need that. I'm going to need a lot of belts and probably a lot of assembling machines, because these... Okay, those only take 2. So I'm just going to make 7 assembly machines, which is good for now. And actually what's going to happen is... let me think about this in a different way. What's going to happen is I will be moving... Is there anything else that just takes red? There we go. Shotgun shell damage. Armor crafting 2. Sure. I'm going to bring the electronic circuits into this main bus as well. And this main bus will actually get larger and larger as production goes on, because things will split off and they'll be necessary for further production. So I'm going to bring it back onto this main bus. And that's generally how this works. So this was kind of a primer for the game. And hopefully it was at least a little entertaining to see how it all works. I absolutely love this game. It's called Factorio, again, and it's available on Steam and other platforms, I think. And it's in constant development. I think there was an update fairly recently to it. I also realized my voice was just very quiet throughout this entire episode, so I apologize for that. Let me boost my volume a little bit. Okay. So I will be back in the next episode. I'll probably record... maybe like 5 or 6 of these and see what the response is, because for one, they're going to be a little bit longer episodes. These are going to be 20 minutes instead of like 10 or 12, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. This is a really gross inefficiency right here, but everything seems to be keeping up with it, just because they're... Oh, that's full. Okay, so yeah, like what's happening here is I have so much production of copper that I'm not actually using. For iron, my production is struggling to keep up a little bit, but we'll get there. And this will get a little nicer looking over time too. Like I can probably make another one of these entire facilities down here, and sure, bullet damage. Make another one of these processing facilities down here just to shore up how much copper, how much iron we're going to be using. But But anyway, thank you again so much for watching this video, and I will be back next time. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to this channel, because I do make a ton of content. So yeah, thank you again so much, and I will see you next time. Take care.